Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ogruk Mas, and in the first video I introduce you the case study. Sarah Washington, a manager at Iniesta Consulting Group, oversees a team of business consultants, and she wants to calculate the net earnings as percentage of salary and using the numbers controllable variables of co-premium and tax rates. And co-premium could vary depending on whether the employee is a management or non-management. And the tax rates are also varies depending on the income the employee receives. And so as you see in this Excel spreadsheet, you will realize that Sarah organizes the 5 employees into a table with each column containing similar information. Each row is a simplified model representing an employee, and all columns are clearly labeled with column headings and appropriately formatted. As you see, the salary is in $sign, and one important point here is that the salary also comma separated. In addition, the input variables here, which is co-premium and tax rates, are stored in separate cells, which is below the data. This way, if Sarah wants to experiment with different scenarios, for instance, if she wants to reduce the co-premium, she can simply change the value in these individual cells. So next, what I do in addition to that is I created a column F, G, H, and I, which I need the information. So the co-premium is going to calculate the co-premium for each employee based on their job classification, management and non-management. And then we are going to apply the tax amount, which again depends on their salary because the tax amount varies depending on the income the employee receives. And then we will calculate the net earnings, and then we will find net earnings percentage of salary. So we use the if statement to evaluate whether the employee has a management level position. If true, the co-premium is going to be 1,800, which is from cell B12. Otherwise, the co-premium is going to be 1,250, which is from cell C12. And we are going to enter this formula. We start with if, and then open the parentheses. If D4, in this case D4, is the cell where you have the job classification, equals, double quotation sign, management, and then comma, if this value is true, then it's going to be B12. But I need to fix the cells because when I want to drag down the formula, I want this B12 stays the same, remains the same. Therefore, I'll put a $sign here between B and 12. You can do absolute referencing too. The row is enough because I'm not going to continue drag down on the columns. And if this statement is not true, then we are going to refer to C12. C $sign 12, and then close the parentheses and enter. Once you do this calculation, you will see that here the co-premium turns out to be 1,800 for whom? For a management job classification. So what we are going to do next is we are going to drag down these numbers. And now Excel correctly identifies the co-premium depending on the job classification. And we need to format these cells because these are dollar units. So what we are going to do is right click and then choose Format Cells. And from the menu that you see, you're going to choose Currency, and this is the format we want, so we click OK. So as you see, now we have the $sign in front of each number in this cell. Next, we are going to calculate the tax amount, and for the tax amount, we use the VLOOKUP function to find the tax rate that corresponds to a particular income level, and then multiply this tax rate by salary to obtain the tax amount. So we are going to enter this formula. VLOOKUP, as you see here, and then in the parentheses, the first one is the cell E4, which is the salary, and then comma, then we need to refer to a table where we can read the tax rates. So it starts from A16 to B20, and we need to fix the cells here because we want to refer the same table when we drag down the formula. So therefore a $sign here and the $sign here will work. This should be 20. And from this table, we want the column 2 because we don't want the salaries, we want the tax rate. So we are going to have 2 here. And here we will choose true. and close the parentheses, and we will multiply this number with the salary, which is E4, and enter. And now we are going to drag down this formula. Now, in order to format these cells, again, we will choose Format Cell, and we will choose Currency, and we'll click OK. So, let me explain the VLOOKUP function. Let's click on the VLOOKUP function here. And as you see, the lookup value, in this case, the first one is E4, which is the salary. And the lookup reference table, ranges of salaries and corresponding tax rates, are from A16 to B20 without the column headings. And a column number in the reference table that contains the output, in this example, the tax rates are in the second column in the reference table. And finally, we want to look up a value within a range. When you use true, it refers to within a range, or find an exact match, which is referring to false. The last argument is optional. If you don't include it, the default value is going to be true. In the reference table, if the salary is at least 60,000, as you see here, and less than 70,000, the tax rate is 19%. If the salary is at least 70,000, and less than 80,000, the tax rate is 22%, and so forth. For a salary of 100,000 and above, the tax rate is 27%. These criteria in the reference table are applicable to all 5 employees, and you can verify that. You multiply this, for instance, for the first employee, the applicable tax rate is 24%. Therefore, you can take the salary, which is $89,046, and multiply this with 24%, and you will find out it's $21,371.04. And we copy paste this formula through the cells. And here we use mixed reference for the reference table in cells A16 through B20. These cell addresses remain unchanged when copied from G4 through G8. And finally, to find the net earnings, we need to subtract the tax amount and co-premium from the salary to compute the net earnings. So we are going to enter this formula. We will get first salary, and then subtract co-premium, and then we subtract the tax amount. So this is the net salary. And if you drag this formula down, you will find out the net salary for all employees. Because we use, in this case, relative references for these 3 cells, when we copy the formula to cells H5 through H8, the 3 cell addresses change to the corresponding row numbers. For instance, in H5, the formula is E5 minus F5 minus G5. And for 8, it's going to be E8 minus F8 and G8. And you can see that the net earning for the first employee is $65,875. And now the next step is we divide the net earnings by salary to compute the net earnings as a percentage of salary. So we are going to enter the formula here, H4 divided by the salary, and then enter. And here, if you don't have the percentage sign, you can choose here and click on percentage, and then you can get the percentage. And again, we are going to drag down the formula, and we calculate the net earnings percentage of salary for every employee we have in our table. And finally, we are going to calculate the average net earnings of the 5 employees by using the average function. So here we are going to enter average and open the parentheses and select all the employees' net earnings and close the parentheses and enter. And you will find out that the average earnings is 73.64%. So, in this spreadsheet model, Sarah can easily experiment with a different co-premium amount by changing the values here B12 and C12. And the results in columns F through I will be updated without requiring modification to the formulas in those cells. And because the formulas do not need to be rewritten, there will be fewer chances of Sarah making mistakes when evaluating different scenarios. Moreover, recall that we only have to write the formulas for the first employee in row 4 and simply copy them to other cells in rows 5 through 8. This is possible because we carefully use mixed and relative references. This way, formulas are used uniformly for cells that require a similar calculation, resulting in fewer potential mistakes and errors. We also show the calculation results in columns F through I separately from the data in columns A through E. Sarah can easily see the net earnings of each employee in column H. By using the average function to summarize the results, she can determine that on average, the consultants in her group take home approximately 3/4, which is 73.64% of their salary. So this is a neat version of representing data in Excel and using advanced functions like if and VLOOKUP function. Thank you for watching this video.